Welcome to Seltzer Squad, the podcast about staying sober in the city, with your hosts, Kate Zander and Jess Valentine.
Hey, girly.
Hello. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm so tired. I'm
Already?
exhausted. I'm burnt out. How
Yeah.
are you?
Same. I feel like I think a lot of people are sharing that sentiment. I know I feel like it was like Christmas came and there was that like weird couple of weeks where it was Christmas on the weekend and then New Year's on the weekend, and I was like feeling like myself finally, like, oh, I feel good. And then the first week of January, back to normal, and I'm like a shred of myself. It's only been 10 days.
I know.
When did you get back?
Well, I got back New Year's Eve.
Okay.
I feel like I have so much to fill you in on.
Yeah, what the hell?
But I mean, I didn't even know where to start. The reason why I'm so tired is I'm burnt out. I scheduled myself like to work basically every single day. Tomorrow's, well, I technically had off yesterday.
You probably
which
drew.
was nice. I did, but I did see a friend. I saw my friend Sophie for lunch, and we went to the Bowie thing. But like, it was so cold out. It's so cold today. But yeah, I've just been working like nonstop. And the only day that I took off for myself last week, I got tattooed, and it was 5.5 hours just of line work on my fucking chest
and neck. Yeah.
So my throat. Yeah.
That's a lot.
So it takes so much out of me and it just really wasn't like a day off. And then, I'm excited that tomorrow and Thursday are my next full 2 days off, but I have to drive upstate to drop the puppy off to her trainer. So it's not really going to be a relaxing day. I just can't wait to sleep.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to sleep in. My landlord raised our rent $200, which I think is kind of a lot.
A month?
Yeah.
Wow. Can they do that?
That's a lot, right? I don't know. He said that it's only 3%, but it's actually 6%.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, he said it's because he didn't raise it last year. But it's like, well, that was your choice. We were like dealing with COVID, but whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm just annoyed at that because and I like sent him a text being like, okay, well, we have to think about, we have some stuff to think about. I'll let you know if we're going to resign or renew, and just to see what he said. And he just was like, okay, sounds good. So we're like, damn it. Obviously, I'm not going to move because I don't feel like moving again, but it's just going to kind of light a fire under us to maybe buy a place next year. But yeah, that's that. I had to fire my employee for lying and stealing and
what was that like
kind of stuff.
As like an adult moment?
It sucked because without even it's such a long story.
Yeah.
But basically, she was caught on camera doing something when we were gone for Christmas. And then we sent a text. And then she posted on her Instagram, I don't know how dumb you can be to post something on Instagram, but it got back to us. It was her obviously talking shit about us and how she was going to quit and this and that. And so we were just like, hey, I guess you can just pack up your things and go, And that's obviously not how we wanted it to go down. We wanted to have a meeting when we got back. So that's been very annoying. Her posting a bunch of stories about us and then me making fun of the way I look and this and that. So it's been trauma.
Cute.
But I've just
It sounds like they handled it well.
Yeah. It was bad. She threw the camera down and stole things and broke into the money box and stole money. It was a whole thing.
Wow.
So yeah. So that was fun coming home to all that.
I feel like last time you left, you came home and it was a flood.
Yes, and my dog died.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, like I shouldn't leave the city. And then let's see. But now we're going up to your house actually to have a work
retreat.
I don't even know.
A work retreat?
Yeah, basically.
Okay,
we
cute.
just figure if we aren't home, there's no distractions,
Yo,
the
that
dog will
house
be
is
her
mad
trainers. Quiet. Yeah. And it just will be good to sit down, focus, and actually do all this stuff for the business that we need to do. We're going to start to look at more spaces when we get back and hire people and all that kind of fun stuff. So that's all that.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so some good stuff, some bad stuff. I'll go over Christmas in a minute. Christmas was fine, but also terrible because we were in the Pacific Northwest and they gave us a Mustang. We didn't choose the car.
Okay.
And it didn't have all-wheel drive.
Oh, yeah, that's hard.
So it was really snowy. We were in the mountains and it was bad. The car, I had it in park with the e-brake on and it slid down the driveway, almost hit the other cars. And then Camp's brother-in-law offered to drive it down the mountain for me. And then him and Cam got in a car accident. It was a whole thing. So
oh, no.
it's just can't wait. I'm just happy to be home and I'm happy to hopefully have a
Have you been going to therapy during all of this or not? Have you been taking a break?
Well, Jody had COVID.
Uh-huh.
So that got canceled. And then I had therapy a day or two ago. And basically I was just, filling her in on all the things. Yeah. I honestly think that I needed a longer session, but it was basically me just telling her everything. And then we just scratched the surface, but, what is new with you? You're not in the closet.
I'm still in the closet. I redecorated. It doesn't really look like a closet anymore.
It doesn't. There's a bookshelf, a curated looking bookshelf behind you.
Yeah,
that's
a nicer webcam. So school ended with I don't know. It was just all the days blurred together. It was literally the week of Christmas when all my final stuff was due. So Christmas was not fun because I couldn't really focus on presents or I don't know, being thoughtful or even just being jolly. It was just trying to get through the motions. And
do you have a bunch of tests?
Yeah, tests and papers and projects. And so, I mean, that was fine. I was just happy for school to be ending for a little bit. And then Omicron came a dark cloud, and then our Christmas Eve plans got canceled, and then our Christmas Day plans got canceled, and then all of the plans that we had that we were really looking forward to were slowly getting canceled. And so finally on New Year's Eve, it was really nice out. It was 50 here, and we ended up having people over in our backyard.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so that was actually very fun to see people and just relax. And we did a potluck, bring your own takeout potluck. So we had a bunch of random food from restaurants around here, which was really fun.
That is really cool.
Yeah. How many people? We need to do more of that. It was I think 6 or 7 people it ended up being. Okay. And then we walked to the park and it was really foggy, but we could still kind of see fireworks. And so that was really fun. I'm glad we did that because it was the only human interaction we had in weeks. And then, I mean, now things are crazy again. I start school next week. But I think for me, the biggest takeaways have been reflecting and I didn't have therapy for a couple of weeks, and then Nance was back and she's just been coming out with hard hitting things.
Oh, is she doing that thing when she does?
Yeah.
I hate that.
So it's just been, she's really challenging me. I told her, my New Year's resolution is we deserve better. In life, just in certain situations, ways I'm being treated or, even just going around our apartment, my setup looks different because I was we deserve better. Yeah. I deserve a better closet, if we're going to live here and let's do it up. And so it's IKEA. It's not we deserve the best yet, but we deserve better. And so, one morning I had like a mental breakdown and I was like, TJ, we have to go to IKEA immediately. And he was like he gets like annoyed that I want to do things like now. And I'm like, if we don't do it now, like I will lose momentum. And so I was like, we have to go.
I get it.
And so I moved like I have like a teeny tiny closet right outside the store, and I upgraded like my monitor and just like got a few upgrades that like have been long overdue to just make my life a little bit more nice,
easier, enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we've just been going through like our apartment, like, okay, we're here, we're staying, let's make like, we deserve better. So let's go through and see areas where we can improve like little by little. So we've been having fun doing that.
But it's also like not overwhelming, if you're just doing like one thing at a time, it's easier.
And it's like, I mean, our apartment is done for the most part, but there's just like ways we could take it to the next level. So like, for example, we put like bookshelf lighting in, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but it like feels fancy, It's like, oh, wow. We have like ambient lighting in the background and it makes us happy. And we spend all of our fucking time at home. So that's nice.
And then it's like, it probably only took you like 20 minutes or something like that to actually do.
Yeah. And, I think, so I was explaining all of that to her and I was saying, TJ and I have been kind of like, we haven't been in a bad place, but I think we've just been stuck a little bit. Like for the last couple of years, things have been like stagnant as far as like, we haven't planned anything. It's hard to have things to look forward to. And we both have kind of fallen into a routine where like he does the same, 15 things every day. I do the same 15 things every day. And we don't really have like meaningful conversations. And we ended up finding, like, we were casually just looking at apartments and we ended up finding an apartment and I was like, let's put an offer on it and see what happens. They ended up accepting it. And then I like had therapy that morning and I was like sobbing to Nance on the phone. Like, I just don't want to move into this place and have have it just be boring still, like not feel connected to him. And she was like, well, you have to talk to him. So I literally like had to talk to him that day because I knew that our offer was accepted and he didn't. So I like got out of the shower and I was just like, okay, like we need to have like a real convo. And I just said, I don't feel like we have like emotional intimacy. I just feel like we're like living together. And obviously that cascades into like other areas like physical connection, all of those things. It's just like we've been kind of existing for a while. And I was like, you're not doing anything wrong. And I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. But like I have to have this conversation that like I don't feel like we're
as connected.
Like, we're connected and I don't feel like we're really making each other better. Like, and I said like this offer was accepted. I don't really want to take on this like stressful thing if we're like not really on the same page, like emotionally. And is this what we want? And so we just had like a super open conversation. And I think it was really good because I don't think he knew that I was feeling any kind of way. I think he knew that I was like sort of withdrawn because when I get stressed out, I like get smaller. And I think he doubles down into like his routine. So I think we've just been doubling down where I've been getting smaller and smaller and he's been like going through his motions over here. And so, we just kind of like connected on like, well, what do we want out of our lives? And like, not like so macro, but it was just kind of nice to like recalibrate and kind of check in with one another. And I said to him, like, for me, things that are fun are like goals and milestones. And we're in this weird stage in this never ending pandemic where it's like, we can't really have those because it's all external and all of that has been changing all the time. So it's been hard for me to sort of grasp onto like what the next thing is. And right now, I mean, school is that for me, but it's also a very long, that's a long one. I need some like shorter milestones. And I think he shies away from that because he worries about, consistency and stuff like that. So we've just been like missing each other on like an emotional level. So she was like, your big thing is vulnerability. Like you have to be vulnerable with him and say like, hey, like I'm not feeling this. And like,
no one likes being vulnerable.
No. So she's been challenging that a lot. Like you have to have these hard conversations and actually tell people how you feel. And she's like, the part that's vulnerable is like, you're just not going to know how they're going to react. And that's been hard because I like to think through like, this is what's going to happen. And then this is, so I can like manage my emotions around every possible outcome. And she's like, you have to start practicing like not having that net and just saying your feelings and then not worrying about it. And I'm like,
how long ago was this conversation with TJ?
I think it was like the week of Christmas. So it's been a few weeks. And I mean, even he commented like, I'm so glad we had this chat. Like, I feel, you know, so much like better about myself, better about us. Like, I feel like we have not necessarily like a clear cut plan and all these like goals to hit, but just the fact that like, he's like, I want to be able to come to you and tell you that like, I'm not feeling great either, or I'm scared, or I'm anxious. And I feel like I haven't been able to do that because you've been so busy and had so much. So it was good. I mean, nothing like revolutionary happened, but it was good to like reconnect.
I was going to say, like, even just having that conversation, I feel like probably brings you guys a little bit closer, just naturally.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. But can we rewind a little bit?
Yeah.
Are you moving?
No. So we were like, I said, like, I want to move there. I don't know if you want to move there. And we need to be on the exact same page if we're going to do this. And I don't want to like hate you for it if we make the wrong decision.
Fair.
And I was like, because what we were looking at was like a brand new apartment. Like everything was beautiful. And that's where like, I was like, we deserve better. Like we deserve this. But it's also like exponentially more expensive than where we are now. And I was like, I just don't want you to resent me. It's in the
Jersey
Heights.
City?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he was like, okay, well, let's go drive by it. So we ended up driving. We decided to make like a little like chart of like 1 out of 10. What do you feel about like the location and the commute and like blah, blah, blah. So we came up with like our little averages and we ended up driving by it. And he was like, girl, you want the sunlight? He's like, this building is completely in the shadows. And so we came to the decision together that like we deserve better than even this. Like, I think it's worth holding out. And so we passed on it, but it was really nice to come to that decision together and to comfortably like walk away and be like, would this be nice? Absolutely. But are we in the position to where we need to do that right now? No, if we don't want to, you know, where I think where we were coming from throughout this whole last year with that drama was that we didn't really feel like we had any other choice. And now the market's a little bit different. And I was like, I much more enjoy this process where like we have a little bit more control. We can take it or leave it, you know, if we want to. And at the end of the day, like we don't have to if we don't want to. So
exactly. It's like you have a place, you have a home, you own it. So it's not even like you have to worry about like, you know, a lease or anything like that. So that's nice. You can just take your time until the right place comes along. And
and like still just do little things around here that like make us feel good about it. And, you know, keep trying to be as happy as we can be here. And then also just like writing down, you know, like what we want and what the ideal is and, you know, whatever. And so, yeah, I think that that's been really good for us. I think I've been feeling not really great about myself physically just because I haven't had any time to like give to myself. And like I was saying at the beginning, like I had that 2 weeks for the holidays and I finally started to like feel like myself again. And I was like doing a skincare routine and like blow drying my hair and feeling super great. And then now I'm still trying to find, you know, that balance. And I think he feels the same way. He's like, yeah, I mean, we haven't been motivated to like do anything. We don't have room in our apartment for exercise equipment and it doesn't feel awesome to go to an exercise class right now. So we have to figure out, you know, what that looks like because as we enter like year 3 of this, like something's got to give.
I can't believe it's still
like this will be my 3rd birthday, my 3rd COVID birthday.
Wow, that's crazy to even think about. Yeah, I also feel like shitty about myself. And it's just like, I have the power to just eat differently or work out and I'm just still not doing it.
Me too. Like so I'm like, I have no excuse. I mean, could I find the time? No, absolutely. Same. Could I like give something 100%. Else up? Absolutely. But I just haven't had the motivation. And I think that's very common right now among everybody is like, what the fuck are we even doing?
I know. You think that like getting like married in 8 months would be motivation for me, but it's not. I'm like, whatever, man.
I don't know anyone that's motivated for like anything right now. It's like we're all just fucking I don't even think it's like we're surviving, but it's like we're just like here. Like, I don't know. We're just here right now.
Completely agree.
So yeah, that's what's been up. I mean, nothing like major, but just a lot of stuff on the inside. And then of course, like escaping into Apple Arcade video games because I don't have school right now. So I'm like, I could play this subway building game, Mini Metro, for 6.5 hours straight and then hate myself in the morning. Could I be working out in that time? Absolutely. Did I? No.
No. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've got nothing, dude. I just feel like I don't know. I'm so burnt out. I'm so burnt out. And I was just gone for like 2 weeks and I'm still just like, it wasn't relaxing. Not that it was supposed to be a relaxing trip by any means. It wasn't, but we went to Christmas with Cam's family and it was nice. And then we were supposed to go up to Washington by like where Twin Peaks is, like the show Twin Peaks. We're going to stay up there, but the weather was horrible. So we had to cancel our trips. Then we had to like stay in Portland for a few nights and our hotel was like awful. Like I spent a lot of money. Like I kind of splurged a little bit. Like it wasn't like super fancy. It was only like it came up to like $500 a night, but for that much, you think that you'd be able to, for example, call down and ask for pillows. And
I'm so cheap. That's so much to me.
Well, it is. I mean, it's not cheap, but
and I gave you a thumbs up, I think. Sorry.
What's that?
I gave you a thumbs up.
I think I did it.
You did it.
I did it. I think I did it. I don't even know what that means, but yeah. No, like I was just like, we're stuck here. It's so cold out. So like, let's try to have a good, like a nice hotel room if we're going to be spending so much time in it. So I like tried to find a place that had like a jacuzzi. This didn't have a jacuzzi. It just had like one of those tubs with jets, but that's fine. Yeah. That's why I booked it. But like we walk in and we're like, oh, okay. It's weird. Like it's just like a really big room, but like just like a lot of square footage.
Sure.
But like one tiny couch, one chair, like, which is fine. Again, don't need anything fancy, but like I wanted to write some shit down, like places to go visit in Portland. There was no paper or pen. So I'm like, okay, COVID. I wanted to grab a glass of water. No glasses, no cups. Okay. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So then I'm like, whatever, let's just go to bed. And no light in the bedroom, just like the night
switch,
like the sconce. Yeah. And I'm like, well, that's fucking weird. I can't see. I was trying to unpack, and then this is like, I know this sounds ridiculous. It's just comical because it was like, the car driving down the driveway and like nearly hitting the other car and then them getting in a car accident and then our, other trip getting canceled. And then I'm like in this hotel room and there's literal dog piss on the couch. Like you can see like where the dog lifted his leg because it was a dog friendly thing. It was just silly. And like, it's so cold there. And they didn't have a comforter on the bed. It was just like a hospital blanket. And I was like, oh my God, no pillows, like 2 pillows on the bed, but I like a lot of pillows. This thing was supposed to sleep 5 people. I don't know how, but it had like a pull-out couch. So we were like, let's like watch TV and like lay on the couch bed. There were no sheets on it. When I called down for like extra bedding, she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't have anything for you.
What?
I'm like, well, that's fucking weird. Yeah, dude, it was just weird. And then like there's more and more, but it was just like, it was very comical. But you know how I also hate being cold like you. And I just like couldn't get warm. You know what I mean? Like it was like that damp cold air, and we just could not get warm. I couldn't get warm. So I'm happy to be back. But
did you think about drinking at all over the holiday?
No, but this is what I wanted to talk about on a sobriety level or whatever. I didn't realize how much like quote unquote normal families drink. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I grew up where my family doesn't really drink. So when I was there, I was like, oh my God, like there's always every night there's alcohol, like whether it be beer or wine or liquor, like every night. and like end all day, you know. And I'm not saying that anyone was like wasted or anything like that. It wasn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just was ever present.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I had a conversation with Kim about it, and I was just like, it's just every day, every night. And she's like, yeah, it's like Christmas. And I'm like, right, but like, what? And then she's like, Jess, your family. She's like, to me, that's not normal. She's like, I've never been to someone's house like on the holidays and there not be like everyone drinking or having a couple drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what like normal looks like.
My like nuclear family did like my mom and dad and all of us obviously was we were underage, didn't drink. Now I think like there's more alcohol with like my older sister and her husband drink. They're normies, but they drink, you know, like, yeah, they'll drink like not all day, but like kind of all day, you know, on a weekend.
Like you'll have like a beer and then, have like wine with dinner. And then it like, it just was like it made me like think. I was doing a lot of thinking about like sobriety and stuff like that, which wasn't something I thought I was going to have to think about. I did go to the liquor store and get some free champagne and stuff. And Cam's sister, who's pregnant, loved it. So then she like went out the next day and got more. She was really excited to find, she never heard about that stuff. So
yeah, on Christmas Eve, we went to the liquor store, and honestly, I don't go to the liquor store anymore. And I walked in, and I was just like, I was like, God, there's so much. Like, it's absolutely insane to me. Like, insane. But I get it. I mean, I guess I get it. But I mean, I went in and picked out like a couple of bottles of free. Like, there was like I got a free champagne. It was Christmas Eve, and the guy there like stocks free because I think TJ goes in and buys it so much. So now he has like all the flavors. So we were just like looking for.
That's awesome.
But he doesn't have it in the section, and I think that's why this was like hitting me. It's like that the free Malbec is like with all the Malbec, and the free Cabernet is with all the. So you can't just go and get like 5 bottles. You have to go to the section, and I was like, just like fuck. There's so much booze here. So yeah, I mean, I didn't have any like cravings, and even like our New Year's Eve party, I don't even know if everybody was drinking, to be honest with you. I wasn't like clocking that, but when we went to the park, we like somebody brought a bottle of champagne as we walked, and then they like passed out cups, and like somebody handed me the cup, and I was like, oh no thanks. But then there's always that realization, like you take the cup at first because somebody hands you something and you take it, and then I was like, oh no, like I don't need this. And then like didn't do the cheers, I guess, or whatever. But it does always cross my mind, like I could have done it. Like,
oh yeah, I know.
Like I could have had the cheers and I would have been fine. But there's just, you know, I just still feel weird about it.
I got some free on New Year's Eve. We flew back, and then oh my God, I'm telling Kate. Like there was also a whole thing on our plane, like with this girl screaming the whole ride.
Was she drunk?
No, she had like a cyst on her ovary. So I felt bad for her, but like it was annoying too. Yeah. Like I hope she's fine, screaming? But like what?
She was screaming?
Screaming the whole flight. It was a red eye. The first time in my life I ever bought first class tickets because I was like, we deserve it. We've had a hard trip, like a hard last couple of days. We should get first class for the ride home so we can like, you know, just sleep and stuff. No. All of a sudden, like 20 minutes after takeoff, I hear a girl going, oh my God, help me.
Jesus.
I'm trying not to scream. And then like, it was the whole thing. It was the whole entire ride. I hope she was okay. But point is, we like got home. We're so tired because we didn't sleep on the flight. And then I had to go pick up the dogs in Jersey. And then I came home, and then it was like,
it's been nonstop for you.
Nonstop. So we just watched true crime, ordered Chinese. Cam ordered some champagne, a bottle of champagne for herself and some free for me. And we just had some champagne and didn't watch the ball drop or anything. We just paused our
well, I heard Andy Cohen got super hammered. like on the air. Like he was like super
They
drunk.
always do.
But like this year, I think like
it.
even Anderson was like I saw some clips afterwards where Anderson was like, fucking get it together, Andy, which I didn't want. Like I had no desire to even watch the clips because I was like, that's annoying to me already. And
I know nothing. Yeah, I just watched the Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka documentary, the Ken and Barbie Killers, and that was it.
All right.
So it was chill and nice, and
I missed you. I feel like it's been a while.
I know. I really didn't want to record tonight. I'm here. I love you. I still don't even want to be doing this right now, but I am. I actually
you are enjoying it a little bit though.
Well, I told my last client, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I'm like, but I haven't spoken to my friend in so long, and at least we get to catch up and stuff. So
definitely.
But I feel like I threw a lot of shit at you, so I'm sorry.
It sounds like you've had a fucking wild 3 weeks, or even longer. You've been gone for a long time.
I just want to. I was only gone for like 2 weeks, but I just
but away from home, that's hard. You know, it's like that you're thrown completely like out of all of your comforts.
Yeah, but it's nice to shake it up. It's just been a wild past like month, I'd say. So I'm ready.
Do you have like a New Year vibe? I know you don't do resolutions, but like, do you have any hopes for this year?
I mean, kind of tons, I guess. I don't really do resolutions, but I feel like I know that I'm sleepy, but I do feel really excited and optimistic for 22. I'm really excited. You know, my business is going to expand. Hopefully we'll like maybe buy a place this year, getting married, maybe start figuring out the baby situation. I don't know, but I'm really optimistic and I think it's going to be a really good year. I just want to keep moving forward and doing bigger and better. What about you? Just deserving more.
Yeah, I think my vibe is like getting more of what I want. And part of that is like Nance is always challenging me like, well, what do you want? And I'm like, fair. That's a fair question. Because I think
it is a fair question.
We never really know exactly what we want. So now I'm trying to narrow in on what that actually is. And I mean, this year is going to be kind of the same, like work and school and just going through the motions. But I think the number one thing that I have to do that I haven't done since really the pandemic began is like prioritize my like health in the way of like exercise and eating good food instead of like
physical health, not just mental health.
Yeah. Like I spent the last couple months of December catching up on doctor's appointments that like I was just dreading and found exhausting to like logistically plan out. Like my boob hurt, and so it was obviously I was terminally ill for like the last 3 weeks of December.
Don't let them do that shit.
And so I had, I got like my first mammogram, and I'm fine. But
how was that? Was it so horrible?
It hurts for like a couple seconds. But like the girl, there were 2 ladies that like did it. They were super chill. Like they see boobs all day. And then obviously because it wasn't my boobs, then I was like, it's my chest, obviously my lungs, like we got to keep going. And so I found a doctor and I got a chest x-ray and I'm fine. So I'm now like, I'm fine. So yeah, just things that like, keep me awake at night or give me anxiety. I'm like, okay, well, Kate, you have to follow through on them, not just like pretend you have like terminal illness all the time, like follow up and like, okay, maybe exercise and okay, maybe, take care of yourself, get more sleep. So yeah, I think this year is just, I deserve more, not in an entitled way of just, but more in like a, can I ask the world for like a little bit more? What would happen?
Yeah. Yeah. What's the worst that can happen? It doesn't happen.
And just like taking people to task a little bit more, like at work and at school. And like a lot of our professors didn't give our grades back like on time or at all. And I think that that's like kind of unacceptable as we pay so much money to attend school there. So I'm like going to have a meeting with the dean about it. And I'm just going to say like, hey, I don't think that this is reasonable. Like, I think I'm paying a lot of money to be here and it would be cool to like know where I stand in class.
Yeah. Good for you.
And I'm trying to like not approach it from like a Karen way, but like, hey, it would be like cool to know like where the fuck I'm at in life. So yeah, I think just speaking up a little bit more, and then I have to be vulnerable and like say why, like, hey, I don't really like being here because I don't think you're seeing me or utilizing me correctly. You know, if it's in the case of like work, I had to have a hard conversation at work this week, like that I was dreading. But ultimately, like Nance is like, if you're not feeling seen and heard, you need to be seen and heard. And I'm like, yeah, but that sucks. And she's like, well,
Yeah.
it's the only way you're going to feel better, you know?
You're like, I hate you.
Yeah. So that's that. I don't know. Do I feel optimistic about this year? Not particularly, but maybe. I don't know.
No.
My seasonal depression hasn't like fully taken a hold yet, so I feel okay.
That's good so far. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see where your seasonal depression is next time we chat.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't
check in
be
about that.
here.
Like I told my psychiatrist yesterday, like usually like February, March, April, May are the dark times. Like January, I'm usually kind of still like coming off of the holiday. So we'll see what happens.
Exactly. Exactly. All right.
All right.
Well,
I
that
love
was
you,
fun.
dude.
Love you.
Until we
Happy
meet again.
New Year. Be nice to yourself.
Don't forget.
And don't wait. Hangovers suck.
Hangovers suck. They still suck.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. Every review helps other listeners find us. Music by Dead Go West. Art by Kate Sander. For show notes and resources, check out seltzersquad.com.
Hey, Kate, what is the number one sober tool that we always recommend?
Therapy.
And we have recently partnered with BetterHelp. Do you want to tell everyone what that's about?
So BetterHelp is an online mental health platform. Basically what it is, it's an app that you get access to therapists. So you take their short quiz, they match you with somebody in your area, and it's affordable private counseling for individuals and couples anytime, anywhere. You don't even have to leave your house. You don't even have to wear hard pants.
That is amazing.
And what are we giving our listeners?
10% off. Just go to betterhelp.com/seltzersquad.
Jess, what's another way listeners can support the pod?
You know, the best way that someone can support our podcast, besides from joining our Patreon, is to also treat themselves to sober treats, because we have a whole merch store.
From Princess FOMO to Former Hot Mess, we've got you guys covered. Check out seltzersquadshop.com to treat yourself to something sober
While supporting the pod.